public service people have always had a soft spot in my heart. As a police officer in Baton.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
When I was with the Yankees,
Hi guys, welcome back to Xcom 2. I have to admit, this is a good show they have. It's a nice one. Looks cool. Looks cool.
I can't believe I went so many years without even
some really cool ones they have.
Knowing about Tunnel to Towers Foundation. And a couple of years ago, I first saw it.
Let me see if I can screenshot it. That'll work.
So it's been a big success so far.
Yeah, worked.
Please join me.
Excellent. I like this one.
T2T.org.
When you can't watch, listen. Get the latest news, business, and news headlines on SiriusXM. Anytime, anywhere. Fox News Audio on SiriusXM. America is listening. If you like me, come get on the rain. If you're not, if you have a brain.
It's not even Friday, but that feels like it. Well, it seems Americans are not holding out much hope for Vice President Kamala Harris if she were to become President Kamala Harris. A new political report claims that voters have real doubts about Harris as a potential presidential candidate. And this, Fox's latest polling shows 55% of Americans hold an unfavorable opinion of the vice president. That's a lot of people to agree on anything, and they don't like her. But it seems the liberal media just cannot stop fawning over her. Vanity Fair says Biden is underutilizing Kamala. Well, she's got like 9 jobs. So what else could he give her? And where could she have her first success? The Independent is asking, is Kamala the Democrats' secret weapon? Yes, it's a real secret. And she has a glowing new feature out with Rolling Stone. Here's a quote. Harris's strengths are often ponderous ones. Her thoughtfulness can look like indecision. Her noodling of potential solutions can lead to unexpected changes of course. Her policies may be progressive, but her ways of tackling them have often been incremental. In the understudy role that is the vice presidency, especially such pragmatism can lack flash.
I've heard that song, I think, 1,000 times. And I never knew the words were, if you're not into yoga, if you have half a brain.
I literally remember the first time I didn't.
I have no clue. It's going to be first on the karaoke list coming up here. I'll make it quick here. They did a poll, Politico, Morning Consult. A third of voters think it's likely Harris will win. Just a third. 3 of 5 Democrats believe she would prevail. That means 2 of 5 do not think she can win. She has the border attached to her. She is the border czar. When you sit down at a debate, you have to say, what have you done lately?
Love this guy.
Spot from the 1980s, where's the beef? And Republicans could make a commercial that they walk out with that spotlight and that old Russian clothing in the commercial, and that's where's the beef. And I think Kamala Harris is yet to be able to make her case as VP for the past 3.5 years.
Weird spot for a fucking turret, let me tell you that. You got no range on nothing.
Situation, no one wants her to be president, and he's a disaster. So for them, it's fantastic. She can go out there and she can talk about abortion and cackle, and people will just say, well, she'll at least reach young women, and she still is no threat to him. It's kind of ideal. I'm just struck by the continued false narrative we've heard from the mainstream media this entire time. So included in that Vanity Fair article where they said, for all that her election may have meant for women and people of color, her first years in office were marred by more than disrespect. And then they go on to list them, but always explain why a series of gaps. But anyone's first time in D.C. can give them the bed. A series of thankless jobs, they say, and impossible assignments. Don't mention the border. They mention fixing the economy in Central America. They talk about, however, on the other side of their mouth, how she held eye contact during the interview. So all they're doing is shoving her in the same box that she was trying to get out of, in their words. I know, too, that they discuss, and we talked about this before, the hubris that she has at all times, right? That sort of defiant, indignant, how dare you not respect me, but she hasn't earned it. They talked about how she's declined all of the invitations extended to her by other heads of state spouses, and that she will say, I'm not a spouse, I'm here as the second most powerful leader. She's declined that Talk about erosion again of our allied relationships, all because they can't see further than their own position.
That's like me going to the Super Bowl and pushing Patrick Mahomes out of the way and saying, I know I have no experience, but I'm going to throw a touchdown and win the game.
Chiefs of mine.
You know, I think there are two qualities you want in a vice president. Number one, someone who helps you cross the finish line electorally. Number two, someone who can be your heir apparent to be president next. She clearly fails on number two. Even Democrats don't think 2 and 5 that she could become the next president. Counterpoint, she may be good on one. And here's what I mean by that. This polling shows she polls very well on abortion. This polling shows she has 67% approval among Black voters, outperforming Biden, and she slightly outperforms him among Latino voters. So I know it goes against conventional wisdom, but she may just help him with those key groups.
Yeah, and my advice to anybody who has to debate her, because she reportedly, have you seen the reports where she's already practicing and we don't know who the Republican vice presidential candidate is? Come up
As if you just fucking nailed me.
down message on abortion and do it before that debate.
Mm-hmm.
All right, crime is so bad at a beach in one state, police are telling people to take their valuables into the water with them. So if you're wearing diamonds, swim with the sharks and don't take them off.
Tired muscles and joints are keeping me from doing the things I love most. Not anymore. Blue Emu gave me my freedom back. It supports healthy muscles and joints.
Shop our expanded family of products at major online retailers.
You know what's crazy?
That this is better than cooking at home. I mean, more affordable than groceries.
Of course. Groceries are expensive.
Thought I was in trouble there for a sec.
Oh, you are.
Men tell us when they use Just for Men to eliminate gray, there's a great before and after. Then there's the after. That boost you get when you look and feel your best. And that's why more men choose Just for Men.
Is your shower time getting in and out of the bathtub becoming a safety concern? Are you worried about the cost of a bathroom remodel that could go on for weeks and weeks? Well, now you can have a gorgeous new bathroom shower that's safer at a price you can afford with a one-day jacuzzi bath remodel.
It was done in the same day. We did not have to wait. It is amazing.
I would give this whole experience an A+. I definitely wish I would have called sooner.
From soft close shower doors and adjustable shower heads to features like grab bars and custom seats that combine safety and style. It's never been easier. Get your free design consultation, schedule your one-day installation, and start loving your new bathroom shower right away.
Only weeks left to get waived installation and no interest and no payments for up to 1 year. Go to jacuzzibathremodel.com or call 800-991-2603. That's 800-991-2603. Call now.
I'm Sholay, and I lost 75 pounds with Gullo. I went from a size 20 to a size 6. Before Gullo, nothing seemed to work. I was exercising for over an hour every day. It was really discouraging. The Gullo is so easy, and the weight just falls off.
Hunter Biden's gun trial is now over, but his father's political troubles are mounting. Oh, and the laptop is very real. The very latest from the campaign trail tonight on Hannity.
No matter
These days at your local region, we're marching to the beat of a different drum. On a mission to support veterans, to have fun, and to welcome everyone to our ranks. You don't have to be a veteran to join the Legion. And as a member, you'll join thousands of others serving the veterans, our communities, and our country. Oh yeah, and our member perks program will save you thousands on shopping, dining, products, and services across the country. Join us at legion.ca.
Last 2 years that I've been on my own, it's been really challenging in order to make ends meet. The agency that I deal with for things like food, keeping the cost of food down, all through toiletries and other necessities that it gets always done with a smile. Thanks to the management, so it was live in basic dignity.
Questions about national security after 8 illegal immigrants.
Fuck it, something, will you?
Are picked up by the FBI and ICE. Where did the vetting process go?
Oh, they love shooting at you.
Into the country. Will Hunter Biden proceed to trial on tax evasion charges, or will he plead out? And is President Biden thinking about commuting Hunter's sentence on gun charges? Minnesota hasn't gotten red since the days of Richard Nixon, but new polls show Donald Trump within striking distance as more billionaires line up to support him. And a story of four-footed heroism. The dog that ran 4 miles to get help after his owner crashed into a deep ravine. John Robert Sanders on today. Jillian Turner joins me at the top of the hour for America Reports. See you then.
Picture this. You're on a dream vacation in Hawaii. Beautiful blue skies, stunning beaches, nothing can bring you down except someone sneaking over to your beach chair and stealing your stuff. That's right. America's crime crisis has made its way to paradise, to Democratic-led Hawaii. The Honolulu Police Department knows that this is a problem, so they came up with a solution that's par for the course for a blue city. For those enjoying the beach, they say, don't leave valuables unattended on the sand. Instead, use a waterproof bag that you can take into the water with you. Nothing like those damn lines go ever.
Swing with our iPhone, baby. I've been to Hawaii once. I would love to go back. It's a long way from New York. I know it's a little freer in terms of society. I guess if you're a local, you can leave your stuff at home. But there are a lot of tourists around those beaches. Yeah. They're packed with tourists. What are they going to do?
Yeah.
They take their bag into the water. I don't see it as practical, but good luck.
Back in the day, you could put your key into a little Ziploc bag and put it to like our pockets, whatever. But nowadays, there's so much more. You have iPhones, and there's so much more.
How about this? Why don't you fix the crime problem?
Right. Yeah, that's what you were saying. Yes. Consequences are a good thing. Because you think about it, I think about it as a mom of 4. You know, my kids are running into the ocean, and I'm having to run after them. And I'm like, wait a minute, let me get the Ziploc bag. You know, let me stuff it in my swimsuit, and then we'll run after these poor kids. And I want to make sure their safety is first, but I also need my car key and probably going to have my phone. And we go to the beach in Michigan all the time, and I think about all the stuff I'm lugging there, and I just want to focus on my kids. Remember that Shark Tank with a bag that clips to your chair and locks? I don't think they invested in it, though. It sounds like Hawaii could.
I thought this was just common sense. I mean, I have this conundrum. I'm not Catholic, I'm Baptist, but when I go up for a blessing, you know, my husband goes up for communion, it's like, do you leave your bag in the seat or not? You're at church, you should be able to leave your bag in the seat, but I never have the guts to do it. So I would not go for a swim and leave my valuables on the beach. Am I the only one in America who thinks this isn't normal advice?
Well, too, Harris, this sort of divides more the people who can afford like a private beach club or a hotel pool where you can leave it a little more safely with their security versus the ones that go to the free public beach and can't afford maybe that protection.
So this makes me feel really old. Because I remember that there was like an unwritten rule that your stuff on the beach is safe. I wouldn't touch somebody else's, and it's like karma. You don't, so no one else will. Like it's an unwritten rule that I've never had. And I went to school at UC Santa Barbara. I've lived in LA. I've been to every beach in this hemisphere pretty much, or at least every country with a beach, as a correspondent. And I would oftentimes have my security badge or whatever, just pack that in the Ziploc. I did what you did. But I never worried that it would get stolen. I was more concerned that it would get wet.
Yeah,
I mean, thanks to the crime that they can't knock down.
A debt to humanity. Things everywhere.
I grew up in Stinson Beach, going to Stinson Beach, and then I lived there, and that was our code too. But oh, how times have changed.
Nothing says paradise like swimming with your handbag, ladies.
Steel tools are as tough and dependable as the people who use them. This Father's Day, give him the gift that's built for Dad. Right now, save $50 on select AK System battery tool sets. Real steel.
Here's the secret. Better with age.
Here's the big these two every Thursday.
Help fuel today with Boost High Protein. Complete nutrition you need without the stuff you don't. So, here's to now. Boost! I hear it all the time. People tell me they'd love to buy gold, but because it's gold, they think it must be complicated. It isn't. Not with Rosalind Capital. With Rosalind, the entire process from start to finish is built on one concept. One. Keep it simple. Rosalind Capital.
a trusted leader in helping people acquire precious metals. Gold bullion, Lady Liberty gold and silver proofs, and our premium coins can help you preserve your wealth. Call Rosalind Capital at 800-630-8900 to receive your free Rosalind Guide to Gold, Gold and Precious Metals IRA, and silver brochures. With Rosalind, there are no hassles, no gimmicks, and our shipping is fast and reliable. Remember, keep it simple. Make gold your new standard. Call Rosalind Capital today at 800-630-8900. 800-630-8900. That's 800-630-8900.
My daughter is Mila. She is 19 months old. She is a little ray of sunshine. One of the happiest babies you'll probably ever meet. Children with Down syndrome typically have a higher risk for developing acute mild leukemia or just leukemia in general. And here we are.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital works day after day to find cures and save the lives of children with cancer and other life-threatening diseases.
She was referred to St. Jude at 11 months. They knew what to do as soon as they got her diagnosis. They already had her treatment plan drawn out, and they're like, this is what we're going to do, this is how long it's going to take, this is how long in between. This place is like family to us now. Like, I can't say enough how grateful we are to be here. Medical bills are always a big thing to everybody because everybody knows that anything medical is going to be expensive. We have received no bills since being at St. Jude. We have paid for nothing.
Thanks to generous donors like you, families never receive a bill from St. Jude for treatment, travel, housing, or food, so they can focus on helping their child. For just $19 a month, you'll help us continue the life-saving research and treatment that these kids need now and in the future. Join with your credit or debit card right now, and we'll send you this St. Jude t-shirt that you can proudly wear to show your support.
Anybody and everybody that contributes anything to this place, no matter if it's a big business or just the grandmother that donates, once a month, they are changing people's lives. And that's a big deal.
Fucking prick.
These bills are crazy.
She has no idea she's sitting on a gold mine. She doesn't know that if she owns a life insurance policy of $100,000 or more, she can sell all or part of it to Coventry for cash, even a term policy. Even a term policy? Even a term!
Find out if you're sitting on a gold mine. Call Coventry Direct today at 800-496-9200 or visit CoventryDirect.com.
One more time.
Last but not least, do you text people before you call them? Always. But if not, you may be breaking an important unwritten rule. The Wall Street Journal claims etiquette around unexpected phone calls is dividing friends, families, and co-workers. So we asked the couch, do you send a warning text or go straight to the dial button? Tutor, I feel like you should always text before calling unless it's like work and you're rushing, but I'm like,
that is so fun. Never. Now, if I want to talk to you, I'm going to call you, and generally I'd rather talk to you than text you because I want to hear your voice. I care about you. And the funny thing is that people think I don't care because I called you directly. I'm like, what is happening? People have time anxiety now? That's the word what? Crazy. Time anxiety?
I don't know. I feel like my millennial friends, we just text. I mean, it just isn't.
Totally. Okay, so there's a couple people that can always call me, and I will call them. Everyone else, don't you call me. Don't you ever call me without warning.
Thank you.
There's only a couple people that are on that short list, and it's close family, and that's it.
And Bill Hipper's on the short list.
You and Tutor are not going to get along. I see a call come in that I don't expect. I'm like, oh. My first thought is there something wrong?
Yeah, exactly.
And then when I settle down, I either choose to answer or, what do you need? Just slide in the voice.
There you go.
It is very, very rare that I call somebody.
It's
very rare. Very modern.
I prefer to have conversations quickly. So if I'm going to go on, it's somebody who I know. And that means if I'm not calling them, they generally don't call me. Because we either have that or we don't. My family always, you see mom call, they pick up. I see them call, we pick up.
Exactly. Well,
Everybody else, no.
I will say Gen Zers are even worse because they put on silent notifications.
Oh.
Stop doing that, Gen Z. All right, thanks to everyone. I'll do prepare for a course.
Exclamation. When you got updated guys, or more experienced guys, it's easier.
Terrorists attempting to cross the southern border. We've seen a rogues gallery of foreign terrorist organizations call for attacks against Americans and our allies. Increasingly concerning is the potential for a coordinated attack here in the homeland, not unlike the ISIS-K attack we saw at the Russia concert hall back in March.
Just a week after FBI Director Christopher Wray warned of a similar ISIS attack, the one in Russia on American soil, ICE arrests Tajikistan nationals with suspected ties to ISIS after they illegally crossed into the United States. How's that for good news on a Wednesday?
What a way to kick it off.
Yeah, hello, I'm John Mark. It's good to be with you.
You too. I'm Jillian Turner. In for Sandra Smith today. This is America Reports. So those 8 Tajikistan nationals, all men, were nabbed last week in a coordinated operation that spanned 3 sanctuary cities. One source telling Fox News they were released into the country after initial ICE screenings at the border failed to raise any red flags at all. They just walked out through. So former FBI investigator Bill Daley is going to join us in just a moment.
Well, we begin with Fox Team coverage. Matt Finn is in California, where one border sector has now become the busiest in the nation. And Alexis McAdams kicks things off. She's in New York City with the latest on the ICE arrests. Alexis, this has got a lot of people puzzled and concerned.
John, that's right. We talk about what happens at the border, right, on a daily basis, and we see it from our drone teams and our cameras. But now people here in New York are hearing about what is happening across the United States. We know 8 men from Tajikistan had entered in through the United States. How'd they cross in? Right through our southern border. And a source telling us, John and Jillian, that a majority of those men actually were found right here in New York City. Watch.
My biggest concern is that this open southern border has created the biggest national security vulnerability this nation has ever seen.
So in just the last few days, the group of men from Tajikistan, who investigators believe have ties to ISIS, were taken into custody. According to sources, these men were, quote, fully vetted at the southern border, okay? But somehow...
Cool.
So it was only
fucking awesome.
Already in the country and had been released that CBP was notified about this alleged ISIS connection. Back at her live, we can tell you this was a huge situation that was led by ICE that took place in 3 major cities. We're talking about Philadelphia, Los Angeles, and then right here in New York City. We actually talked to a Democrat, a Democratic councilman here in New York who says the border is broken and Biden needs to do something before there's another terrorist attack in the Big Apple. Watch.
They really can't do a thorough job. They don't have enough officers to vet these people. And certainly this should be done before they come into our country. So let's get real about this. Let's protect our nation, our citizens, our families. Let's know who's coming in.
According to the New York Post, the feds used a wiretap to listen in on their phone calls, hearing one of the people arrested talking about bombs. We can also tell you, according to the latest information from the federal sources out here, these men have not been charged in any crimes yet. They're being held in ICE custody and could be basically just sent home. John?
All right, Alexis McAdams for us in the Big Apple. Alexis, thank you. Jimmy?
Right, well, despite President Biden's newly released executive order, the numbers of people actually crossing into the U.S. illegally is not abating. In one key sector alone now, migrants hailing from 100 different countries, even more, are being ushered into the U.S. with only what's called a notice to appear in court on a date, sometimes years out. So Matt Finn's live from Tacoma, California right now. Matt, how many people is Border Patrol encountering daily where you are?
Julian, the latest numbers obtained by Fox News show that at least 1,000 migrants are illegally crossing right here in the San Diego sector every day. Our crew has seen these groups crossing over the past couple of days. In fact, this week we saw a very large group of at least 400 migrants crossing in a single clip, a caravan emerging from the desert. Some of the Border Patrol agents here tell us it's one of the largest single groups they have ever seen in the San Diego sector. And we have learned that migrants are still being released into the United States after illegally crossing, despite President Biden promising that would not happen under his executive order. Here in San Diego, we are talking to migrants from all over the world, including Iran, Yemen, China, and Egypt. You're from Egypt, correct?
Yes, I'm from Egypt.
And you're coming here, you're going to stay in California. I think you go to Sunnyvale.
Yes, I come for work.
Come for work.
Yes, I love America.
In my country, don't have free. I don't do anything. Yeah, tattoo, no.
As you walk along the border wall, you see all types of debris, migrants shedding clothing and garbage, lighting fires, and occasionally we spot migrants cutting holes in the wall or trying to get over it. Illegal migrants cross into the United States in all different ways. One method is scaling the wall with these rebar ladders. Border Patrol tells me that sometimes the Mexican military turned them over to the United States. Now, I'm talking to some of these migrants here. I say, are you aware of the executive order which claims that you are no longer eligible for asylum? Many of them say that's news to them, but they say they feel like they're good migrants. They'll be good people in the United States, so they feel like America will let them stay. Back to you, Jill.
All right, Matt Bennett, come before us this afternoon. Thank you.
All right, for more on this, let's bring in Bill Daly, former FBI.
Spidey suit looks retarded.
So how concerned are you about
Fucking
this revelation
retards.
that 8 to G
Can't even put in the fucking armor.
with known ties to ISIS were apprehended coming across the border. They were vetted, and they were paroled into the country.
Hey, John, I'm very concerned, and I'm concerned, much like the FBI director said, that this is the harbinger of perhaps things to come. You know, we have literally hundreds of people who've been shown up who are on the terrorist watch list. These individuals apparently did not, appear on that watch list. Perhaps they weren't discovered by our partners overseas or by our own intelligence agencies before they arrived. But nonetheless, we literally have hundreds of other people who just we suspect are terrorists who've snuck across the borders. So I'm very much concerned. And I'm concerned, John, we also use this term kind of vetting very loosely, and I'd probably put that in air quotes without being too kind of common about this. But, vetting is a very serious matter. In this case, I think the vetting with using the terrorist watch list is probably the best tool we have. But other people showing up, you compare it against what databases you get in countries that may or may not have records, that may have purged records, that people have any authority or push can have their records expunged. It's a very kind of loose term we use. I over the years, have worked on international cases where we need to truly vet people. It takes literally tens and tens of hours and even on-the-ground work to really understand who someone is.
So, Bill, the terror watch list, as I understand it, is pretty black and white.
Supplies go faster around here.
Encounter a migrant along the southern border.
Oh, good. This is the snake one. That's where the bosses come in. Good.
People when they are in fact on the list. Do you have a sense of how that mistake is made in real time?
Well, actually, in this case, Jillian, I'm not too sure whether or not they were actually on the list at the time. That seems to be a bit kind of opaque at this point. We may want to suggest that perhaps they showed up afterwards. They came to the FBI's attention, Homeland Security's attention, because of information received by either our agencies or our partner agencies overseas. But when people showing up at the border, and suddenly you see them showing up and they have a passport, they have papers, or maybe they have nothing. They give a name.
I have one group left. Absolutely not.
You can do some type of facial matching or facial imagery to kind of compare them. Other than that, that's really what we're talking about here. And I think that's really a concern that we all need to have as Americans, is that as people coming through, there isn't this kind of thorough vetting. And even with people who might be on the terrorist watch list, in this case, we'll find out.
Bradford comes along too, which is dope. There he is.
Imaging, but it is a very spotty case of that at best.
All right, Bill, so as troubling as this is, there's an even bigger problem, and that is the number of people who have come across this border that the Border Patrol, CBP, DHS, ICE, the FBI have never laid eyes on, the so-called gotaways. How many of them are there? Take a look at this. Since President Biden came into office, an estimate, and it's only an estimation, because we don't know who these people are, where they came from, where they went in this country, and what their intentions were, 1,664,203. How much of a national, if people who are being vetted pose a national security risk? What kind of national security risk is posed by the 1.6 million people who weren't vetted?
John, you're spot on with this. Is that, and you can imagine what it takes for an agency like the FBI when you don't even know who you're looking for. I mean, in the case where people may come across and we have a name, and we have a face, and we have some information about them. Maybe we can try to track them, but in this case, we don't know who they are. We don't know who they're connecting with. We don't know what their intentions are. We don't know, whether they sent here intentionally as part of some type of plot. Were they sent here as sleeper people who could be activated later on in cells that could be used against us later on? Or could they be people who could easily be radicalized and influenced by either outsiders or other people when they get here? So I think you're right, John. And when you look at these numbers, it certainly is startling to say the least. And certainly from a national security perspective, whether from a terrorist perspective, whether from just an intelligence perspective, when we see large numbers of people coming from different countries who we would deem as being hostile intelligence services, they may be sending their people here, sending young military age men who could also be intelligence operatives. So we have a number of issues that we're facing, and I think all of us as Americans need to be appalled at what exposure we're placed in because of the open border we have.
And especially considering the threat environment we're currently in, Bill, I wanted you to take a listen to the Attorney General last week, and then we had the FBI Director, FBI Director Chris Wray last week, the day before we had the Attorney General talking about what we're dealing with. Listen.
We've seen the threat from foreign terrorists rise to a whole nother level. On top of that, increasingly concerning is the potential for a coordinated attack here in the homeland, not unlike the ISIS-K attack we saw at the Russia Concert Hall back in March.
I am worried about the possibility of a terrorist attack in the country after October 7th. The threat level for us has gone up enormously. We worry about this question. We try to track anyone who might be trying to
Looks good.
the country.
Perfect storm.
It is, and as the FBI Director said earlier, they've seen a rogues gallery of individuals coming through, and people could act, again, in these small groups or in concert together. If we look back at 9/11, they had 19 individuals who carried out the horrific attack on that day. But over the years, we've had the Boston Marathon bombing. And in fact, somewhat poignant is today is the 8th anniversary of the Pulse nightclub shooting down in Orlando, where 49 people were killed. It goes to show you that even those people who may be on our radar at some point, and some of those people I just mentioned, perhaps were, they go unnoticed. Nonetheless, those people come in here either with intent or could be cultivated with intent, and we don't even know who they are.
So, Bill, just as we say goodbye to you here, Bill Malugin obtained this memo that was sent to the Border Patrol about apprehensions in the San Diego sector.
I like doing these missions.
Referral to detention of people from Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, which is where these 8 were from, Russia, Georgia, Kyrgyzstan, and Moldova. It says here, all others from every other country should be processed with a notice to appear and then released under own license, which includes more than 100 countries in the Eastern Hemisphere. So you've got to wonder how many people are coming into this country. Bill, thank you for being with us. Really appreciate your analysis.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Bill.
My pleasure.
Well, there's also this. The Fed set to respond to this morning's inflation report in the next hour. New numbers now show a slight break for consumers, but is it enough to help Americans facing inflation fatigue? We have Jerry Baker on tap to discuss. There is also this.
A journalist harassed by a group of anti-Israel protesters as she tried to cover a pro-Hamas rally. She joins us with her story just ahead.
Biological readings in this area are
Dad is a legend, and his legendary moves might be passed down to you. Dancing is just one of the many inherited traits you could discover with Ancestry DNA. Get it for Dad, and together you can see which traits were inherited, the places where they started, and the people he shares them with. Best of all, it's on sale for Father's Day. But get moving. This sale is only for a limited time.
There's an old saying in the Navy that the toughest job in the Navy is the Navy wife. And you made the deployments, and you've been the wife at home or you've been the spouse at home, you understand what I'm talking about. Your spouse has earned the right to apply for a VA home loan. The New Day 100 loan allows you to borrow up to 100% of your home's value. So if you're in a situation where you need some help financially, give us a call.
Call 1-888-928-2085.
What Tractor Supply customers experience is personalized service made possible by T-Mobile for Business. With T-Mobile's reliable 5G business internet, employees get the information they need instantly. This is how business goes further with T-Mobile for Business.
Your skin is ever changing. Take care of it. With Gold Bond's Age Renew formulations of 7 moisturizers and 3 vitamins for all your skins. Gold Bond.
Ooh, fun.
Yikes. The leaky refrigerator blew apart. Is that bad?
Oh, Dad!
Of an AC fan motor. But your future is bright with an American Home Shield warranty to protect your covered appliances and home systems. Are there bees behind me?
My bees escaped.
Bill, we talked about this. American Home Shield. Don't worry, bee warranty. A heart attack?
Do they have life insurance?
No,
But we have life insurance.
John.
I'm trying to find something we can afford.
Fortunately, in only a few minutes, Select found John a $500,000 policy for only $29 a month, and his wife Ann a $500,000 policy for only $21 a month. Go to SelectQuote.com now and get the insurance your family needs
At a price you can afford. Select Quote. We shop. You save.
Just Waters saying what most won't.
It's an election year and nobody's in trouble.
Jesse Waters Primetime. Weeknights on Fox News Channel.
People say
I'm thinking we're Lucky Gus. What's grabbing my papa extra big?
Can I get up? What? Smoking prevents reaction time and concentration. Message from I knew I was making respectful moves. When I found out about what the United Way could do, I was sitting inside the window on the phone, talking with someone saying, I didn't lose everything. I got nothing. I might be dead. 14 years.
That's right. Going hard.
One attempt to salvage materials from one secretly inert storage system. I made an astonishing discovery. A single cryostasis unit remained intact and occupied. This changes everything.
Not sure I like the sound of that.
I'm making more money now than I've ever did in my life, and it's paycheck to paycheck.
Housing prices have soared. How are we going to pay off our student loans? How are we eventually going to buy a house? I think the state of the country is really scary.
I would agree. I say prices of everything.
All right, well, the Federal Reserve set to react to this morning's inflation report at the top of the hour. New CPI data shows inflation continuing to ease. Just slightly, though. It's still more than a point higher than the Fed's 2% goal. Fox News contributor and editor-at-large for the Wall Street Journal, Jerry Baker, joins me now. Jerry, take a look at this. We compiled some of the stats on the inflation for particular sectors since President Biden, the day he took office. So we're looking at overall, which we know we've talked about, 19.3%, but then we have food is up 21%. Shelter also 21, energy 35 points, and car insurance up more than 50%. Not a rosy picture.
No, Julian, you're absolutely right, and those are good illustrations of real prices that people actually have to pay, rather than these sort of sometimes sort of general numbers that we gets a lot of focus. Look, this report that we had today was mildly encouraging. It came in slightly better than people had been expecting, but it's really important to put it into perspective, Julian. Not only exactly as you said, prices overall since Joe Biden came to office 20% higher, what they were back then. Inflation is slowing, it's true, it's come down from its peak. And when I say inflation, I mean the rates of price increases. Prices are still going up month after month after month on average. The rates of price inflation has come down, but at nearly 3.5%, Gillian, it's still, as you said again, above the Federal Reserve's target, but it's also almost twice as high as it was before Biden took office. When President Trump was president, the last few months of his presidency, inflation was down below 2%. So it's absolutely no wonder, as you heard from those people in the clip at the beginning of this segment, Gillian, that people are unhappy with the economy. Prices are much higher than they were 3 years ago, and they're still rising. And what's more, most incomes have not really caught up with pace with that. And with interest rates still high, they're suffering in terms of student loans and other debt. So it's still a very, very, very bleak picture.
So you couple cost of living, salaries that aren't going up as quickly, and you have Americans like we talked to in the montage at the open of the segment who say they might be earning more than they ever have, but it's not making a difference in their quality of life. Jerry, here's Jerome Powell setting the stage for the U.S. government's own report card.
We remain strongly committed to bringing inflation back down to our 2% goal. We'll have to do more in terms of monetary policy to get back to 2%, because we will get back to 2%. We understand the hardship that high inflation is causing, and we remain strongly committed to bringing inflation back down to our 2% goal.
I know you can't see into the future, but if you were going to sort of try and project and give me your best guess, when could we be looking at 2?
Well, somewhere, we're going to find out a little bit. We're going to find out what the Fed thinks in the next hour. They'll give us a sense of when they think inflation will come back to 2. Currently, they think it'll happen basically sometime next year. What's really interesting, Gillian, is what they'll do with interest rates. Now, this report today, I think, has raised very slightly the possibility that they will cut interest rates this year. Not today. Nobody expects any cut in interest rates today, and almost certainly not any cut next month in July. But we could see a cut in September, just before the election, by the way, which might be quite interesting. Some people will wonder about the timing of that. But even so, it's still really important to remember again, then, Gillian, that even if they cut by 125 basis points, let's say a quarter of a point, that would mean rates will still be 5%. Interest will be 5%. Again, when President Biden took office, they were below 2%. They were rates were, again, all those interest rates that flow from that, housing, student debt, car loans, were way, way lower than they are. So again, it's the same story with inflation. While inflation is better than it was a year ago and is coming down, it's still nowhere near where it was when President Biden took office. And while interest rates may come down, they are still way, way above where they were when President Biden took office.
So it sounds like we're looking at, weeks to months to get to where the Fed has wanted to be for some time now. It's only 3 months from now. A little bit of hope there. We'll be watching at the top of the hour to see when the decision comes down. Thanks so much, Jerry.
Thank you.
We are monitoring a Pentagon briefing after Russian warships sailed close to Florida on their way to Cuba. Was Moscow's show of force a warning to Washington? What's this?
It was a case that needed to be done, but it was not the most serious offense that Hunter is charged with. The tax cases that are happening in Los Angeles in September are much more serious.
More legal trouble coming down the pipe for Hunter Biden as he now stares down a court date for a tax case out of California. We're going to ask Andy McCarthy about that, and the White House voting the possibility of Hunter's sentence being muted in his gun trial. Stick with us.
I'm not in perfect health, but I want to stay in my home. I can do it with help from a prep cook, wardrobe assistant, and stylist. Life's good when you have a plan. Everybody.
Suri, a Citi client, uses Citi's financial expertise to help drive its growth and keep its supply chain moving, so more pet parents can get everything they need right when they need it, keeping more pets and families happy. For the love of moving our clients forward, for the love of progress.
Boys and girls, it's time for Seapark, and it is lesson 150.
At Abeka Academy, our master teachers live up to their titles. Start your free trial and save $100 today.
Yeah, your worst nightmare. Your car broke down.
Now you're worried if it's going to cost you a fortune in repair bills. Unless you already call CarShield, the legit #1 auto protection company in the country. When you're protecting the plan through CarShield, the process is smooth like ice and done in as little as 3 steps. 1. First, the tow truck takes your car to the shop. The cost of towing, covered. You got a plan through CarShield. Next, you probably need to get around while your vehicle is being repaired, right? 2. Plans through CarShield have rental car options too. Then comes the best part. 3. When you pick up your vehicle, you don't have a big repair bill to worry about. CarShield administrators get your company repairs paid directly to the shop, so you're back on the road with no worries. Call now to get an affordable plan through CarShield for your vehicle before it's too late.
Oh, you fucking asshole.
You got a small problem like a power window motor that could cost a few $100s, or a big problem like an engine or transmission that could cost you thousands of dollars to get taken care of. CarShield is the #1 auto protection company in the country, and their administrators have paid out more than $1 billion in auto repairs. That's billion with a B. CarShield is the choice that gives you the CarShield guarantee. Your rate never goes up, and your coverage never goes down, no matter how many claims you have. Look, it's inevitable. As your car truck ages, the parts and components are gonna fail. It's not worth the risk. Call CarShield.
Waiting until your car breaks down is too late. Call CarShield for coverage on up to 5,000 parts and get the CarShield guarantee, where your rate never goes up and your coverage never goes down, no matter how many claims you have. Call 800-991-1467. 800-991-1467.
My back got injured very bad. I was off work for about a year. I heard about Relief Factor from my wife. I took it every day, 3 times a day, for 3 weeks. Look at her and I said, the pain is gone. And she said, I'm glad it helped. I said, no, you don't understand. It's gone.
You too can feel better every day with Relief Factor, a daily supplement that fights pain naturally. Call or go online now and get 35% off your first order.
These bills are crazy.
She has no idea she's sitting on a gold mine. She doesn't know that if she owns a life insurance policy of $100,000 or more, she can sell all or part of it to country for cash. Even a term policy. Even a term policy? Even a term!
Find out if you're sitting on a gold mine. Call Coventry Direct today.
Fuck!
800-496-96.
Wrong one, cocksucker.
CoventryDirect.com.
Welcome back to the U.S. Navy and Coast Guard now tracking a photo
Okay.
troops that are crossing the Caribbean to hold joint military drills with Cuba. That Russian convoy includes a nuclear-powered submarine and a combat frigate armed with hypersonic missiles. They arrived in Savannah Harbor just a short while ago. Chief National Security Correspondent Jennifer Griffin is at the Pentagon tracking all the movements there. Hi, Jennifer.
Hi, Jillian. We just came out of the Pentagon briefing, which just ended, and we asked about this Russian flotilla, in which we were told that this is an annual exercise, and they've been doing this for about the past 10 years. However, U.S. Northern Command and the Canadian Armed Forces have deployed warships and aircraft to monitor the Russian Navy as it conducts drills in Cuba's waters. Russian warships can be seen here entering the port of Havana this morning. It feels like a return to the Cold War and even the Cuban Missile Crisis. Ships from the U.S. Second Fleet, U.S. Fourth Fleet, U.S. Coast Guard, Atlantic area are shadowing the movements of 4 Russian naval vessels.
We've been tracking the Russians' plans for this. This is not a surprise. We've seen them do these type of port calls before. We're always constantly going to monitor any foreign vessels operating near U.S. territorial waters. We of course take it seriously, but these exercises don't pose a threat to the United States.
The Pentagon has been monitoring the Russian warships as they cross the Atlantic Ocean. On Tuesday, the Russian flotilla sailed less than 30 miles off Florida's south coast. U.S. intelligence assesses there are no nuclear weapons on board the ships, but the convoy does include the Kazan nuclear-powered submarine. Cuba's foreign ministry said the Russian warships will be in Havana until Monday and said their presence, quote, does not represent a threat to the region. In a clear message designed to needle the U.S., Russia's foreign minister, Sergei Lavrov, met with his Cuban counterpart in Moscow today. thanking Gagana for taking Russia's side in Ukraine.
We're grateful to our Cuban friends
For fuck's sakes, is this all he does? Wow.
Havana assessed the ongoing events, outlining absolutely correct. We are grateful to our Cuban
And he
friends
misses.
for the fact that they are also.
We got one unconscious prick, another one going to be, another two unconscious pricks.
Send its only aircraft carrier, the Admiral Kuznetsov, to Cuba. It's currently out of service. Also notable that Ukraine has sunk nearly half of Russia's Black Sea fleet in the past 2 years, including a prize submarine. Billy?
Hunter Biden, Jillian, becomes the first child of a sitting U.S. president to be convicted of a crime after a Delaware jury found him guilty in a felony gun case. And now attention turns to his tax trial in California, where he faces 9 federal charges. Andy McCarthy is a former assistant U.S. attorney and a Fox News contributor. Andy, let's get into the tax case in just a moment. But some news this morning made by Karine Jean-Pierre in an off-camera gaggle. We were kind of talking about this yesterday, that the president has said on the record he's not going to pardon his son, but he never said he wouldn't commute his sentence. Listen to what Karine Jean-Pierre said this morning.
I have not spoken to the president about this. And what I'm saying is, he was asked about a pardon. He was asked about the trial specifically, and he answered it very clearly. As we know, this is Jam. I don't have anything beyond what the president said. He's been very clear.
He is, again, very clear about a pardon, but has said nothing about commuting the sentence. What do you make of what she said?
I think it's political.
You guys shoot like shit. And of course it escaped.
I don't think that Hunter Biden is going to get a prison sentence. If he does get one, it'll be very minimal. But I'm pretty confident that Judge Noreika, regardless of what sentence she imposes, will give him bail pending appeal because of the Second Amendment issue, which means he'll be out on bail into next year. So there's no point before the election to address this because it won't be an issue until after the election. And then the other thing is, if you're going to take the political hit for clemency, wouldn't you pardon yourself rather than say, you don't have to go to jail? The idea that he would go to trial when early voting has already started in September, and this is the case where the allegation is that Hunter Biden evaded taxes on the money he was generating from profiting off his father's political influence. You would think that would be the last case the White House or Hunter Biden would want to see go to trial in the weeks right before the election.
And Judge Noreika's got about 120 days window, I think, to pronounce sentencing against Hunter Biden for a gun case, which could take us into September. And we asked our brain, what's the typical sentence for something similar or the same as what Hunter Biden did? We found out that from 2019 to 2023, 52 defendants were sentenced in a similar category as Hunter Biden. 92% were sentenced to serve prison time. The average length of imprisonment imposed was 14 months. The maximum for that crime is 10 years. There's another crime maximum of 5. But you don't think they'll do any jail time?
Well, I think that there's a way you can interpret the guidelines to give him a reduction based on the fact that they don't have any evidence, at least that I've heard, that he was getting the gun for criminal purposes. It seems to be for sporting purposes. At least that's what I understand. If he can show that under the guidelines, that moves him down to a category where Judge Noreika could impose a sentence of 0 to 6 months, which under the federal guidelines is in a range where she doesn't have to impose a prison sentence at all. But it's important to stress, John, that judges don't have to follow the sentencing guidelines. They usually do, or at least they approximate it, but they don't have to.
Yeah, because if they don't for one, then they might not have to for another. I'm glad I'm not a judge, that's all I can say. So let me ask you about the special prosecutor, David Weiss, because he went from a guy who signed off on a sketchy plea deal to being the attack dog for the prosecution. Listen to what he said yesterday.
No one in this country is above the law. Everyone must be accountable for their actions, even this defendant. As you know, we have additional trials and investigative work to be done. So I will not entertain questions at this time. Our work continues.
The consensus seems to be that his prosecutorial team did a very good job in Judge Noreika's court, but what do you think of Weiss himself and how he has handled this case?
I do agree with you that the prosecutors who tried the case did a very good job. I also think David Weiss is the best defense lawyer Hunter Biden has ever had. Because he delayed the way he delayed, not only are some of the most serious charges no longer prosecutable in the tax case, but everything has been pushed so close to the election that in the end, Hunter is not going to see inside of the federal prison no matter what happens to these trials. Because everything will be pushed so past the election and then it's all over. So it's the end game is to keep them out of prison. Mission accomplished.
All right, I always appreciate your legal advice. See you in September. Thank you.
Only polls over President Donald Trump making some new gains in another state. We're going to be under tax action from Brand Colorado.
Lots of things, dogs stranded in action after a serious car crash left him stranded. That man and his dog Blue join us live just ahead.
My psoriasis was all over.
And psoriatic arthritis. Who knew they could be connected? For me, Cosentyx works on both.
Cosentyx helps really refine clear skin. And psoriatic arthritis can be less joint pain and help stop further joint damage. Serious allergic reactions, severe skin reactions that look like eczema, and increased risk of infections, some fatal, have occurred. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, have a vaccine or plan to, or if IBD symptoms develop or worsen.
Okay, everyone. Our mission is to provide complete balanced nutrition for strength and energy.
Be sure, with 27 vitamins and minerals, nutrients for immune health, and it's shipped complete with 30 grams of protein.
Everywhere but see the better.
The whole motorcycle. You have to wedge it and everything.
Don't do that.
This reminds me of my bike.
The wolf was about the size of my new motorcycle. Have you seen it, by the way? Happy birthday, Grandma!
Really?
Look how the brushstrokes follow the line of the gas tank.
Hey!
Grandma plus one.
Then, this is a premium hand-selected bacon wrap filet mignon that's aged for tenderness and to perfection. This is a nice time. What do you think Dad wants for Father's Day? Visit omahasteaks.com/TV to order the Dad's Want Steak package today for just $9.99. We'll include 8 additional burgers free. So get into this. Not this. This. Go to omahasteaks.com/TV today because Dad deserves it. Just a little Father's Day with Dad. Lumino whitening strips. No peroxide, no pain. I can use them every day if I like. Eat what I want, drink what I want. I'm an aluminum strip and hello. My smile is back on point. Some people like doing things the hard way, like doing their finances with a spreadsheet instead of using Quicken. Quicken pulls all your financial info together in one place and updates it automatically. How easy is that?
20 seconds a week to lose 20% of your weight in a year with diet and exercise. That's the power of GLP-1s through Row. Connect with a provider today at pro.co/Trump.
Hi, Grandma. I played baseball today. Oh, that's great.
What position did you play?
First base. That's what Grandma used to play. When our hearing wouldn't allow us to use a regular phone, it made us feel isolated.
It became difficult to communicate with our friends and family.
Clear Captions was an easy solution for us.
Clear Captions provides captions on a phone, like captioning on your TV, so you can see what the caller is saying live as they say it.
Making it easy to understand and respond immediately.
There is no insurance or Medicare required. Clear Caption service is provided at no cost to you through a federally funded program. We deliver, install, and train you on how to use your phone, all at no cost to you.
Give your loved ones the independence and connection they deserve.
Call now to see if you qualify to get a Clear Captions phone at no cost to you. Call 1-800-979-0270. That's 1-800-979-0270.
These bills are crazy.
She has no idea she's sitting on a gold mine. She doesn't know that if she owns a life insurance policy of $100,000 or more, she can sell all or part of it to Coventry for cash, even a term policy. Even a term policy?
Even a term! Find out if you're sitting on a gold mine. Call Coventry Direct today at 800-496-9200 or visit CoventryDirect.com.
When you can't watch, listen. Get the latest news, business, and news headlines on Sirius XM. Anytime, anywhere.
I don't know why the hell they do some of these.
Sirius XM, America is listening.
Well, speaking of beaches, there will be a new top dog in Coney Island next month. The reigning champion, Joey Chestnut, will not be competing in the Nathan's Hot Dog.
I got one party that said, oh shit.
Chestnut sponsorship deal with the rival plant-based hot dog brand and banned him from competing. The 16-time champ has won every year since 2016, gobbling down a world record 76 dogs back in 2021. Chestnut was frank in his response, saying he is, quote, gutted by the decision.
But why? Why?
Because
why do they need to do it?
Because he was, being sponsored by a rival hot dog.
Oh, Gene Kelly here too.
Sick to even look at it. It's just the idea of eating too many hot dogs and then feeling sick from eating too many. It's just really awful. I don't know why anyone would do that to themselves or watch it.
It's a New York tradition.
I know, it's weird. I don't know. It's not
well, who was the guy before Joey Chestnut?
I don't know, but it was a long range. Yeah, he was like decades. Yeah. He ate hundreds.
He was amazing.
But I'm sure Joey Chestnut had to as well, but his predecessor, whose name escapes me, was like a world-renowned, all-around food eating. Yes. It wasn't just hot dogs.
Kobayashi.
He was like, he had
been... saying about
Kobayashi, that sounds familiar.
I just know the Kobayashi Maru.
He was like a real eating athlete.
Yeah.
I mean, he trained for years and was like everywhere. He won awards. He like won first place everywhere. I don't know. I read a deep dive article.
What happens to them?
It's a very weird way to live, and you gain and lose 50 pounds constantly.
I would assume if you eat 70
hot dogs. Get an engineer out of this one.
Training cycle.
70 pounds of hot dogs. 70 hot dogs weight.
Just not for me.
All right. We'll mark that down. We'll mark it down as not participating.
Thank you. We also don't need to see any more VL of him stuffing his face and trying not to throw up. All right. There's also this. Let's save us from that. A new poll finds former President Trump now within striking distance of President Biden in Minnesota. This is Trump aims to expand the electoral map, closing the gap in several competitive blue-leaning states, including Minnesota, Virginia, and Nevada. We saw those numbers earlier in the week. Katie Pavlich is the editor of Town Hall and a Fox News contributor. She joins us now. And everybody.
How many hot dogs do you eat?
After that, the VO, I think none.
Yeah, it was like hard pass.
The worst part about it is that the reason he's banned is because he's going to a fake meat brand. So right. I endorse the ban, actually.
He's going to get really sick from that because they're very highly processed.
Yeah, they are, indeed.
Okay, so Katie, take a look at this. I want to show you the latest Minnesota polling numbers. So this is from yesterday and the day before, Star Tribune, NPR News. Biden is at 45%. This is if they were voting today. Trump at 41%, and then you have RFK Jr. at 6%. Others undecided, round out to just under
10%. And it's really stark when you look at the 2020 numbers where Biden carried the state. He came in at 52.5 compared to Trump at 45.5. So they're heading, the trend lines are heading in opposite directions now. It's pretty surprising.
Well, the Trump re-election campaign, or running for this the second term after he lost in 2020, they have always thought that they wanted to be untraditional and that the states they pursued.
Sparks you too, cool.
Ground untouched when it came to close opportunities, that they could pull away some of these Biden voters, maybe who are disenfranchised Democrats. But the problem for Biden in places like Minnesota is that he still is not able
Save
to
this.
get
Looks
his
important.
base from 2020 back to the polls for 2024. You have a significant number of usual Democrats not coming to the polls.
Should be a good mission.
It has a lot to do with the Israel-Hamas war. That is one problem, but you're seeing that happening in states all over the country.
All right, we'll check you guys out next time. All right, peace.
Voters are actually turning Biden into a vulnerable